You know what I just realized?
How good looking I am?
Well, yeah. Well, you're pretty I don't know what's up with your camera, but it's pretty fuzzy. But we sound just like The Office. I just got off that thinking we were watching the episode of The Office.
Okay.
All right. Sorry. How are you, Mike?
I love our intro. Matt did a great job on it for us, as always.
That's amazing. That is amazing. But here we are on the fly with Mike and Ty, episode 2. Excited to be here.
2. More than you know, man.
Yeah. Well, we have a lot to talk about. Not an crazy active week with hobby news. Actually, a pretty dull week. To be quite honest,
not a lot going on.
We have plenty of stuff to talk about today, so I'm excited to dig into this. How was your weekend?
Me too. It was okay. I played in a golf tournament, the Fort Worth City Championship here, and Saturday I played well. I shot an 82 and then was in contention. I was 4th. There were 16 guys in my flight, so I was 4th, 4 shots back, and completely laid an egg yesterday in the final round. And I shot a 93, which on the course we played, I should shoot at worst 85, probably closer to 80. And I just hey, consistency is a big thing in golf. That's why I'm not playing in anything bigger than these little amateur tournaments, because there's a reason that I play. I'm a hacker, right? So it was disappointing. Well, I was really pissy at myself.
Some people thrive under pressure. Some people don't.
I crushed like a soda can, like under the weight of the pressure. No, I just couldn't play well. I didn't play well.
Bummer. Well, I know you went back out today to redeem yourself.
I did. I played the same course today, shot an 85, and I didn't even play that well. And if I'd have done that yesterday, I would have won the tournament. That's how margin for error there is, But that's okay. What about you? What was your weekend like?
Well, you know what my weekend was like, because I ended up taking a long trip this weekend to pick up a collection, the largest collection I've ever purchased. And we're getting to the point now, Mike, where I have to really start figuring out how to sell some stuff, because I've put out a lot of money for some collections, which is exciting, really fun. I mean, we're going to dig into this a little bit, but I mean, how can you say no to stuff like this?
Come on. Right.
Come on.
I mean, people, I'm telling you, Ty, I know all these stories, and you have got to start sharing this on Bench. I mean, you've got to start getting this stuff out there, because, I mean, they're great stories, and people would love to hear these experiences that you're having, finding these collections in the middle of Idaho, of all places, right? It's fantastic.
It is. It's given me an appreciation for the stories behind cards, and just for the depth of the sports card industry. Like I'm just meeting so many crazy cool people who collected cards for 15, 20 years of their life, stop for 20 or 30 years, and are pulling things out, and like they're seeing it and they're like, oh my gosh, it's bringing me back to this period of my life. This is neat. It's just neat. So yes, I do need to tell stories.
I hope what it's showing you too is how there are so many unknown collections out there. I mean, what we see on YouTube or Instagram or Twitter or wherever, Facebook, is a sliver of what's out there, right? A sliver.
Yeah.
And there's so much out there. You're discovering some of it, bringing it back to the hobby. Hopefully going to start putting some of this stuff back out into the hobby. Hopefully some of it you're going to sell to me, but we'll get into that later, down the road.
Yes, we will. Well, I've told you before, I have an incredible appreciation for like mid to late 90s, early 2000s baseball, basketball inserts. Like I love Fleer Metal. I love the Skybox stuff, the Topps Finest stuff from that era. And as I go through these collections and I find some of these inserts and fun parallels, like it's just, oh my gosh, I love that era. It's so fun. I mean, vintage has been really fun, but that era to me is just like it's a drug.
I'm hesitant because I don't know how much you want me to share versus how much you're going to be putting out on your own videos. But you've got to tell the story about the guy and how many cards you bought, just so people can get a idea. You said you bought the largest collection you ever bought. How many cards was it?
1.2 million cards. It took
1.2
me.
million cards.
It took a 16-foot U-Haul to pick up everything I got. And that was
Crazy.
packed to the brim. Yeah, that was packed to the brim. So
And you're still married.
yeah,
That's awesome.
and look. Well, I tell you what, it's going to take months and months and months to figure that collection out. But there's a great story behind it that I think will be fun to tell. So watch for the next few days as they get stuff out. I'm not going to over edit this stuff. It's going to be just me walking through things every day. I'm discovering stuff. I mean, that many cards, just so much stuff you discover. We'll talk through it. So anyway, it's not about that today.
And that's not even the mantles you're talking about. You met another guy today and got all these mantles, right?
49 Mickey Mantle cards.
All
I've
raw,
already packaged them up
right?
to send them off for grading.
And they're all raw.
What's your favorite mantle? All raw.
Favorite mantle. That's a 54 Bowman. Not my favorite mantle, but I do like it. Of the mantles I have, it's got to be the rookie 51 Bowman, but I also love his 56 tops. I think you have a 56 tops in there, don't you?
Yeah.
Sideways card.
Yeah. Hold on. Keep talking. Tell me more about mantle.
So I mean, I'm missing his 52 tops, his 52 Bowman. That's a 59. Very nice. And that one is in good shape too, from what I remember. Seeing the pictures. So Ty texts me and calls me, hey, this is what this guy has. And I love helping him think through it. And I think you're learning a lot too, right?
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Learning which cards are worth it.
No, and I'm realizing this is my favorite mantle. 54.
That's 56.
I call it the 54.
Well, it's not. So you can call it whatever you want, but it's the 56 top.
Like I said, I'm still learning about these. Okay. So chill.
That's one of my favorites too. The smile on his face is great, right? He looks so young and
yeah.
And that was his first tops card since 52 because since 53. He was not in 54 or 55 tops. He was exclusively a Bowman guy. So there's a 60 tops. Gorgeous. So yeah, that's a fun weekend, man.
It's a fun weekend. And it's expensive, but very fun. They were both this weekend. Yep. It's like some of these, I'm really teetering on the SGC versus PSA, and SGC has become a very compelling option for me across the board. And now that I have cards there and I see their process and I see their platform, I really like SGC.
Yeah, I don't blame anybody for sending cards to SGC. The cost is great. You know, it's certainly $25 a card, $30 a card. I can't remember.
30. Yep.
30. So that's incredibly reasonable. It'll still keep people from sending in super overproduced stuff, you know, and they're known for grading vintage. So that's good.
That's good. All right. Well, let's dive into topics here. Before we do that, we want to thank our sponsor, Card Hedge, for supporting Bench Clear. If you don't use Card Hedge, go check them out. There's a link in our show notes. There's a link that I'll post up here in the top right corner. That'll give you a link for 7 days free. I mentioned this last week. I've been using it as I go buy collections. I throw them all in a portfolio and I check out what the value is, and that helps me decide how much to make an offer for. It's been great for me in this process. So, have you been using Card Hedge at all? As usual,
dabbled around in it. I I got a question for you though. Did you put all 1.2 million cards into Card Hedge to see what you should offer
Yeah,
on
I've
that
been working on.
collection?
Yes, yeah, exactly. I put 12 of them in, and so multiply by
That's good.
100,000. Yeah.
But
So anyway, thank you,
I
Cartage.
want to hear you talk about the economics of it too when you do your videos. Like what mindset, what were you going through? How are you coming up with, okay, how do I do this? What do I offer that's fair?
Yeah,
Because you and I both, we come from a place where, let's just say that our standards aren't the world standards. We have higher standards given to us by the man above. And because of that, and we talk about this actively, you and I do, that,
yeah.
hey, we gotta sleep at night. We have, a day of reckoning coming where we have to answer for what we've done here. And we truly believe that. And so we talked through that, like what's a fair offer, and how do you
Mm.
be fair with someone when you're trying to be also, because you don't really know what the value of that collection is going to be. You have an idea and we can talk about it, but all depends on how they grade and all these different, there's so many factors into it. It's very difficult and to be fair, right?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I did not mean for this to turn into everything about collections, buying collections, but I think one thing I've learned through this, and some of this is because of you just reminding me of the process. People appreciate honesty, transparency, and like just sitting down and just being real with them. Like this Mantle guy, right? Like any of these guys, we know enough. We could easily take advantage of people. It would be very, very easy. Um, but it's just not right. And I'm gonna go to bed at night sleeping peacefully and looking at people here today and say, you know what, I feel like I did the right thing. I've been printing out values of cards, like the Mantle. I went through and I put everything in a spreadsheet so on what he could go sell it for today. And I said, here's my offer based on that. Take it or leave it. But that type of honesty, I feel like goes a long way for people. And this guy just basically said, I trust you, Ty. Take this stuff over here for free too. Like you treated me so right. And just that's what it leads to. And I think it's incredible to see how that pays off.
If only our world did that a whole lot more, I think we'd be in a better place than we are today. But that's a whole nother video, a whole nother channel, not this one. But
Yeah. No kidding. Well, let's switch into the topics here. We'll talk more about collections later. You cool?
yeah, totally. Let's go.
All right. So topic number one, sports performance of the week. What comes to mind for you? And obviously there's a lot happening in sports right now with the playoffs and NFL and now preseason basketball starting. What stood out to you?
So my sports performance of the week is going to be Josh Allen.
Really?
He torched your Kansas City Chiefs with his feet,
Are
with
you
his
saying that
arm.
just because you want to rub it in?
I am a little. Uh, that was a really good game. I'm not going to give the sports performance of the week to Mason Crosby or whoever the Bengals kicker was, because that was hilarious watching them just trade missed field goals for the last bit of that game. And I can't do a homer pick. You said no more homer picks, so I can't do that with the Cowboys, who are 4-1, by the way. But yeah, I mean, Josh Allen looked for real. And I wish I would have watched the Justin Herbert game, the Browns and Chargers, because I heard Herbert just was insanely good in that game.
Yeah, I watched that game. Yeah. That was my number 2 on my list. Herbert is extremely. I put it on Twitter today. People are going to look back 2 years from now, 18 months from now, and be so pissed they didn't buy more 2020 football products. Because when you look at like how cheap it is compared to like 17 or 18, I mean, you can go get Herbert stuff, Herbert products for so cheap, relatively speaking. But anyway,
Interesting.
yeah, my performance of the week was the rookies for the Tampa Bay Rays the last couple games. Arozarena and Wander Franco. I mean, how fun is it to be a Tampa Bay Rays fan these days? and there's not many of them, unfortunately, right? But it's
Right.
like you guys got an insanely good crop of young talent. You got Rosarina who's just breaking records right and left in the playoffs, and Wander Franco's going to get on base like 60% of the time. Man, it's so fun to watch that team play. So jealous.
And they're on the verge, though, of losing the series. I mean, they're down 2-1. Last night's game with the homer in the 42nd inning or whatever it was crazy. And the play that Kiermaier should have scored a run on the double that hit off of Hunter Renfroe. And I mean, I was flipping all back and forth between Sunday Night Football because that game got delayed. So I'm watching the baseball game and flipping back and forth. It's so much fun to be a sports fan right now and just watch. It's sad none of the teams are teams that I care about, but I do enjoy watching it.
Agreed. It's been a blast, and I love the fact that NBA is just right around the corner because you're starting to already see the buzz building for the NBA season this year. It's gonna be a blast. It's gonna be a blast. We got all these people going, deciding not to take a certain shot, and they're sitting at home more. Southwest Airlines, I'm talking to you, right? So you're going to see a lot more people focusing on sports and sports cards. I think that's going to be interesting. That's another topic.
It will be.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Good stuff. All right. Expensive cards of the week. So let's look at the top 10. Some interesting names on here. Number 1, the Mickey Mantle 52 Tops PSA 6 goes for $70,000.
That seems cheap to me, actually.
I was going to say a PSA 6. I mean, there can't be many higher than that, right? Less than 100 above a PSA 6, less than a couple hundred. Man. Number 2, LeBron James graded ticket stub, PSA 9, 42K. Tiger Woods, SP Authentic, 36. Pokemon making the list. We'll skip that at number 4. LeBron James, 0304 Topps Chrome, 30K. Juan Soto, Chrome Update Gold Auto, $28,000.
We saw that last week. Wasn't that
I don't
on
think
there
we saw
last
the
week?
Update Auto.
Okay.
I don't think so. SP Authentic Brady, PSA 9, 26. Magic the Gathering. Get out of here. Elite Tennis, Serena Williams rookie. Wow, really? Serena Williams rookie, 25K? And then, holy smokes. And then this is an interesting one, number 10, 2016 Upper Deck Euro League, Luka Doncic. A Euro League card going for $25,000.
Wow.
What do you think about the top 10 eBay list this week?
If I had $70,000 lying around and I could buy a PSA Mickey Mantle 52 Tops for that feels really cheap to me, honestly. That's not bad.
Okay. What would be your second card you choose in this list for the current price?
The Serena Williams. No, actually, it'd be the Tiger Woods auto. The Tiger Woods auto is awesome.
Well, for me, the number 1 card would be the Tom Brady SP Authentic. You look at Tom Brady compared to, because you look at 5 TD game again, right? Like the dude is entering a category that we may never see again, in any sport. He may be the greatest athlete of all time, period.
Really?
Any sport. I really think about what he's done. I mean, look, I'm not a huge Tom Brady fan, but I'm starting to get to the point where it's like, okay, this guy, he's doing things that we've never seen before. We'll never see again. He has become the ultimate untouchable.
He threw 5 touchdown passes yesterday, like at 44 years old.
Yeah. I saw a headline today, like through week 5 of, how old is he? 44, you said?
44.
Through week 5 of 44, he's already thrown for more combined yards and TDs than all the rest of the 44-yard quarterbacks to ever play the game. Like he did that in 5 weeks. I think Tom Brady's
definitely in uncharted territory, and to keep doing it at the high level that he is, it's one thing to be, the third string quarterback at 44 on somebody's, 55-man roster or whatever, but it's another to be playing at his level.
Yeah. No doubt. No doubt. All right. Release of the week. Ugh. A kind of a we had a couple of products move back this week. Kind of a dull week. It's been dull, period. What the heck, man?
Yeah, you're seeing a lot of product. Like Topps Update was originally slated to release on Wednesday. That's been pushed
Yep.
back to the 27th, apparently.
Yep.
It's funny to see. Where do you see? I know where I go. Maybe we can tell people kind of where we go to look for kind of release
Mhm.
calendars.
I default to Blowout Cards release calendar in the top right corner of their page. It takes you, and they keep it updated. I mean, almost real time. So I like that. What do you do?
Yeah,
Cardboard
I
Connection.
use Cardboard. I use Cardboard Connection,
Okay.
but they're both good resources. I like on Cardboard Connection. You can click on the product, and it just tells you so much about it. What the different checklists, and there's so much information there. It's fantastic. And so I like that. There are some products supposedly going to be released next week that I'm excited about. The one I said last week that I was excited about was Topps Update, but now it's not coming out this week.
Yeah.
What do you think is causing all of these products to be pushed back and keep getting delayed?
Well, I think supply chain issues are real. Like we're seeing it obviously across all kinds of different areas of our life right now. But I mean, from employment, supplies, the whole supply chain is just screwy. And I ask people that are fairly well connected, and from what I'm hearing, it's just not going to get better. Like there's no light at the end of the tunnel that they can see right now, and that's concerning, right? It really stinks for like Panini and Topps who want to print money, literally print money, and they can't.
Yeah. And the dynamic of that, not to get too deep into economics for people, but if you have products that people want and you can't produce them because of supply chain issues, that actually makes prices go up, and it enhances the already things of going on in inflation in our economy already because of the amount of money we're pumping into the money supply, etc. This only exasperates that
Yeah.
because now products are still in demand that aren't on the shelves, and so that creates price inflation. And that'll happen in sports cards too. Things will just get more expensive. They won't be able to make as much of it, and they'll just hike up the price.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Well, there is two releases that I think we need to talk about. WWE Chrome that you can buy for 113 a box. I know you already got a couple on pre-order.
Oh
Thoughts
my
on
gosh,
that?
I got a case. I bought a case.
Next. And then your favorite, Ben Baller Chrome Baseball. How many artists are coming out with products these days? I have zero desire for that crap. I'm sorry. It's just not my thing.
I,
Do you get into
I
that?
think it's total overkill by Tops. I mean,
Yeah.
completely unnecessary. And it's obviously a money grab isn't all sports cards a money grab by these companies, but it is, I think, just silly. You got Aoki and even Blake Jameson, friend of the show.
Yeah.
It's not against the artist. The artist should do it. If Topps comes to me and says draw stick figures for baseball cards, I'm going to go, sure, give me the pile of money and I'll do it. That doesn't mean Topps should do. It's not the artist's fault. It's Topps' fault. And
Mm,
I have zero desire for it as well, just like you.
yeah. Good. Glad we're on the same page with that. So there you go. There's your two releases for the week. Yay. Yay for us. Okay. Hobby news. This is we got some things to talk about here. So let's uh let's focus on the first few. Let me show the recent news here from Sports Collectors Daily. This is an interesting one. So the 97-98 Upper Deck game jersey Jordan card sells for 2.7 million. It's his first autograph relic card. But it's always interesting to see the BGS 8 a BGS 8 card with an 8 auto selling for 2.7. What thoughts on that?
Well, BGS, who is known to be incredibly generous with their autograph grades, to give that an 8 means it's really probably a 6. But gorgeous card, and iconic card. You could use that word. I mean, the higher end stuff's going to, I think, stay at this kind of crazy level for a really long time. I don't see that stopping because the rare, ultra rare, super awesome stuff, you just can't go down to your local card shop and buy that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
What do you think about it?
I mean, it's just crazy to me to think about how fast certain prices have accelerated. This is a perfect example of it, where you have a card. I mean, I get it. There's only a few higher graded, but it's BGS8 for crying out loud. Yeah, it's a cool card. It's a cool card. I can't compute that type of money for that card. I really can't. I have a hard time.
It makes no sense. I didn't say it would be logical. I think that top end of the market is going to be there for, I guess it's always kind of been there, right?
Yeah.
For the last decade or so. Super crazy money.
Yeah, no doubt. Another piece of news, and this is a tweet I retweeted this week, and I'm really curious to know your thoughts on this. So, Julian Lane threw out there that him and others have noticed eBay views really dropped in the last month, but he hasn't heard any explanation why. Anyone know what's going on? And he's referring to the declining demand people are seeing on their sales activity, like the average view per item and the total views in their seller dashboard. What's your reaction to that? And then I'll get my thoughts.
Not surprising. Again, I think supply is drying up. I think more and more sports cards are being bought and taken off the market. I think when you also have a dip in prices, nobody's eager to sell. Like nobody's like going,
Yep.
ooh, I can't wait to post my cards. They're waiting for some type of recovery that may or may not happen. So you have prices coming down just kind of across the board, not on every single thing, obviously, but in general. And it makes sellers not eager to post their stuff.
I don't disagree with that. I also think you cannot discount the fact that there are very viable platforms competing with eBay now, and they get better every week. Yeah, and now you have PWCC with their platform going live, right? Continued growth of Stars.com. C's kind of picked up their game a little bit. I still think eBay is the de facto standard, but I can see why declining views would be kind of a normal thing.
Yeah, and you've got Card Flip, right?
My
Is
slabs.
selling slab.
Yep.
My slabs. Yep. Yeah, there's Facebook is growing in terms of people buying cards there. And you can sell it on Facebook and not have to pay eBay fees, right? So if I have a viable audience to buy a card for a price that I want to sell it at and avoid paying eBay fees, you still might pay PayPal fees or whatever, but you can greatly reduce your cost, right? Why wouldn't you do that?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm putting this. I already spelled it wrong. Whatever. I'd love to know what your non-eBay, anyone watching you, what's your non-eBay preferred platform to use? Are you defaulting to ComC? Are you defaulting to StockX, StarStock? What are you using that's outside of eBay that you find pretty viable for your sales?
I
Do you
should
have another platform?
probably honestly, I should probably expand my horizons a little bit more, and look in other places. I think I would be more satisfied because I'm honestly not finding what I would even consider reasonable deals to be made on eBay. And then, oh, by the way, they took away eBay bucks for the most part. They've gotten rid of incentives for buyers and sellers to kind of get a little extra back. All these things that they've done. Not like they're helping themselves.
Yeah, I agree.
So
I agree. I have been using ComC for a lot of the singles. That I feel like they've kind of held their ground in the market. And I have obviously a lot of StarStock that I've used over the last basically 9 to 12 months. So Those are my
Is
two.
ComC catching up on their times to list cards that you send
They
them?
are. They are. It's much more reasonable now. You can get it done in basically under 2 months, 6 to 8 weeks, somewhere in there. That's which is really good if you ask me.
Okay. That seems long to me, but
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Maybe it's all relative now. Like 2 months seems really quick compared to like everything else you have to wait for in the hobby.
Right. It's funny. Maybe we should have our a new segment on the show of like card deal of the week that we found or something.
That would be good.
Let us
I
know if you'd like.
also
That'd be good.
Yeah, tell us those segments you'd like us to add. Someone else mentioned that we should do a junk wax pack war every week, and I would be super down for that.
I would too. That'd be fun.
That would be fun. So maybe we add that in. Any other hobby news you want to talk about?
Well, we talked last week about PSA grading, 800,000 plus cards in the month of September. That pace is continuing the first week of October. They did another 190 something thousand cards. So they are cranking through that backlog. What pisses me off is the lack of transparency. I don't know why it would hurt them to tell us, i.e., the collectors out there that are wanting to know what's going on, how many cards are still left in the backlog? What's this great clog that has happened? Where are you guys at? How are we doing carving into that? Was it 6 million, 10 million, 50 million? Nobody knows. There's speculation, and I think they've leaked some hints on that, but the reality is no one knows, so we still don't know where they are. And it would be nice for them to tell us. I don't know how that hurts them to tell us.
When you said clog, you just created this imagery that I think is very relevant. I feel like PSA has got the plunger in the toilet, just getting that junk and crap out of there. And I have a lot of it that's turned into crap since it's been there for the last year. I agree. How much of that poop is in the backlog? Tell us. Seems to be pretty simple.
Seems like that to me.
What's your guess? Because when did they cut it off? They cut it off in
6 months ago, April.
Was it 6? Oh, okay. So we're looking at April. Yeah. So April. They're almost through June. I mean, almost to the end of January. So you got basically February, March, April. So you got about 3 months left. What did we know going in? About 10 million cards in the backlog ish.
That's what I would have guessed at the beginning. I bet they still have 3 to 4 million.
So at 800,000 a month, we're looking at 4 or 5 months before they're caught up.
Yeah, I'm still calling. I said when this first started 6 months ago, I said they will not open up until first quarter 2022, and people thought I was nuts. And I'm sticking by that prediction. And what I think they're going to have to do is figure out a price level, because let's say their capacity is 200,000 cards a week. Right. If they dropped it to $20 tomorrow, they would get way more. The clog would just reappear. Right. You'd have a new clog, right? Because they would get flooded with submissions. And so I think they're going to they'll probably have to tinker with, all right, it's 150 now. If we drop it to 100, how many cards are we getting per week? Okay, we have more capacity. Let's drop it to 75. They're going to just kind of dial in that at this price level, we get 200,000, because there's no point in not taking in as many cards as you can do, because then you're wasting capacity, right?
Yeah. I think you're right. They're going to dabble with it until they find that perfect spot, the perfect balance. And either way, I don't think any one of us are going to be happy about it. I don't think it's going to be a price point we like or a turnaround that we like.
I did get the
new normal.
I got told I do group submissions when I submit card. I usually don't submit stuff on my own. And the guy who does my group submissions for PSA, I just found out I got some grades back. He called me today and told me the grades on a bunch of cards. And bunch of just random stuff, honestly, that I just wanted to get slabbed up. But it was $12 a card back then. Like this was $12 a card. I mean, it's like, oh my gosh, I miss that. You know, I so miss that.
Those days are
One
gone.
of the cards,
Long
one
gone.
of the best card I got was a 2012 Bryce Harper Topps Heritage High Number rookie card, and it came back a Gem Mint 10. And the last one of those
That's
sold
beautiful.
for $2,300. What's the last one sold? So
You timed that perfect. I know you could already foresee Bryce Harper having, you know, an MVP caliber year. Right? Well done, Mike.
well, these were sent a year ago. So
Right.
yeah, I totally saw that coming.
Oh my gosh. We'll show that. I want to see
So
that
yeah,
next week when you get it in.
I hope so. I'm gonna be taking it to the Dallas Card Show and try to flip it for some vintage, try to trade it for some vintage, believe it or not.
I like it. I like it a lot. Okay. Goals.
What's next?
Goals for the week, man. I want to hear what you got. What do you got?
Let me hear yours first, because mine might be a little lame. Yours is to get through all 1.2 million cards that you have now.
Yeah, mine's pretty specific. It's get a lot done in the evening, right? Film a couple episodes for you guys to see, and keep being educated.
Yeah, I think you should just throw that stuff out. I guess Ty had to leave and go throw up or
No,
something.
no, you're good. Some kids were busting down the door. Yeah, so those are my goals. For hobby wise, I would say life wise, I've been convicted about not getting the word. So I want to try, despite having a million cards, sitting down and reading the word for. I'm committing to 4 days this week. Something my wife and I did. So
Nice.
amidst all this craziness, keep making sure I'm focused. There you go. What about you?
It's the first thing I do every day, just to make sure that I get it done.
Yeah.
And it's a pattern that is hard to keep up, by the way. Just like doing videos and buying, looking on eBay, it's funny how I'm spending a lot less time watching videos on YouTube like I used to, because I'm just doing other things, and that's okay. Like people, it's weird. I think people in the community expect we are influencers, whether we want to admit it or not. And people expect us just to be always cranking stuff out, and man, why aren't, do more and tell us more. And it's like, man, I got a life too, wife, kids, career, all these things. So we're doing as much as we can, and we want to do. It's not like we don't love doing this, or else we wouldn't do it at all. But it's trying to find that balance of things. So I don't have a whole ton of cards I'm looking for right now. Honestly, I'm just kind of really saving and waiting for the Dallas Card Show at the end of this month. And so just keep looking every once in a while. And again, I think you did prompt me to kind of go, maybe I should look at some of these other places for cards and just see what's out there, just dabble in them a little bit. I don't know why that would be a bad thing, just to try it out.
Yeah, I would take that as a goal for you, because I tell you what, I gravitate towards platforms that can do things very easily. So the other night, Jordan Poole for the Golden State Warriors has put up like 3 30-point games in a row. His rookies were 1920. And yes, you could go buy them on eBay, or you could go to ComC or StarStock and grab a bunch of rookies like that if you wanted to take advantage of players like it. It's that a modernized version of rookie cards has been really fun. So maybe you should enjoy those. Learn those platforms.
Good. I'll let you know next week how I did with that goal. That's one thing we should do, is how'd you do on your goal the last week, what your goal was, and follow up. Right.
Yeah. Well, my goal was to finish that book, and I am about 80% of the way through.
Still loving it?
Oh, love it. So here's something I didn't know. And now we have like 1 minute left. I didn't realize how hated of a player Ty Cobb was.
Yep.
I mean, the stories
to
about
spy.
him, the fights he would get in constantly, how like he didn't even practice. Like his teammates talk about how he didn't even come to practice. But yet people basically looked at him and said he's by and far the most gifted natural baseball player to ever play the game. He's also just the most hated player. Like it's just a weird dichotomy. It makes me like appreciate him, but never want to collect the guy. Never want to like not that I could get away. Like it's just you don't hear that very often. It would be a fun topic to talk about hated versus loved players one day because I think that is very interesting.
Yeah. Or you can be talented, but that like Barry Bonds, best player I've ever seen play, and hated by a lot of people in the baseball world, because of his surliness and the way he was with the media and the fans, and all taught to him, by the way, by Willie Mays and his dad and Bobby Bonds.
Yep.
So yeah, that'd be a good topic. I'm glad you're loving the book. I have barely dived into it on my end. I got it finally last week in the mail. I bought it on eBay. And we're talking about Glory of Their Times, just so everybody knows what book we're talking about. It is. I'm excited to get going and get really into it.
Yeah. What's the next book you would recommend?
Baseball wise?
Yo.
You see it? The card?
There?
The card?
The card?
Can you see it?
Oh, okay. Yeah. It looks awesome.
Yeah, this book is amazing. It talks about the story around the Honus Wagner card and why it is what it is. Oh my gosh, I haven't looked. So I got this in Cooperstown. You can see in 2009, and I met the authors of it. They were both there doing like a seminar and talking and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it says, "To Mike, keep collecting," which is what I say at the end of every video. That's fantastic.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Cool.
So that's
go grab
a
it.
great book. Collectors, Con Men, and the True Story of History's Most Desired Baseball Card. It's really good.
Okay. I'm on it. Well, good stuff, man. Episode 2 is in the book. Have yourself a good week.
Hey, you too. Everybody have a good time. Have a good week.
Keep on
collecting.
It doesn't sound as good coming from me. It's okay. I'll come up with my own. I gotta make the Tyler outro.
Keep collecting.
Keep